All right, we're here with the infamous and famous Matt Kelley. He runs Karma Returns. His regular Instagram is Matt freaking Kelley, the Woodland Elite's tumbling director. This guy is a freaking tumbling wizard. He gets kids to do stuff that blows my mind, and I've been in gymnastics and cheer forever. So, Matt Kelley, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. So Matt Kelley, let's kind of get people a chance to know you. Who you are, how long you've been coaching for, that whole shebang. So how long have you been in the game doing cheer and all that?
I think I started cheering when I was 14 or 15, just through daycare, and then we kind of learned to tumble just by watching the gymnasts. And I want to say it's been about, I started maybe in 98, maybe a little bit earlier. Just a smaller gym, and I worked my way to Texas All-Star Cheer. Worked there until I was, cheered there until I was 17, 18, I guess, when I graduated, and kind of worked there and cheered at University of Houston, cheered on the USA team back in the day when we went to London. Went to Hawaii Pacific and cheered there for 3 years, had a blast. And came back home to work at Texas for a little bit, and then I've been at Woodlands Elite for 8 years now.
Dude, that's fantastic. All right, Matt Kelley, what is your coaching philosophy?
I guess I would say my goal is to help the athletes reach whatever their goals are as safely as I can with progression or tumbling. Working their bodies out, conditioning them so they can hopefully stay, away from injuries, but just trying to progress them as safely as I can, but to help get them to not only get the skill, because everybody gets it and posts it, but to be able to compete it successfully multiple times or through the season is kind of my main goal. So I guess my philosophy is to try to find out what the athletes are wanting to do, what their goals are, and what they're not good at and what they're good at, and try to help them get there with whatever knowledge I have.
So you've coached at this point thousands of athletes would be a safe assumption, so with all these athletes, that you've coached, at least when I coach, I notice the biggest thing is trust, right? Even if the athlete has a ton of talent or ability, they might not even want to attempt to throw something if they don't have that trust in you, whether or not they're ready or not. So what is the thing that you do to build that type of trust, that type of relationship with the athlete, so that way when you say, hey, it's time to throw your double full, or even if it's on the simpler side, it's time to throw your back handspring, that they look at you and they're like, okay, coach, and they just go into it with 100% of their, their being?
That's a tough and a good question. I would say back in the day it was a little bit easier because building trust with the athletes was kind of simple. You learn, are they good if they're being pushed? Are they, will they shut down if you push too hard? You build a relationship with them, you get close with them, and you start trying to, use their emotions to help them and benefit them. Was kind of what I was born kind of, they did to me, I guess, when I cheered, and I always did. And, athletes change every couple of years. And so the athletes of this season are not the same with the 2016, 2017 season. So it's, not being as hard on them, honestly, and trying to figure out how I can progress them safely. And luckily, because it's in the gym, they see the track record. They see the other kids I've worked with, and they're like, okay, clearly he knows what he's doing. And a lot of times I'll refer to it almost like, if you were going to the scariest haunted house in your city, but I told you everywhere that someone's going to jump out at you, it's probably still going to be scary. But once you kind of accept it and okay, it's going to be scary, but I'm going to be okay because my coach is progressing me properly, then they start to trust you when it comes to that. And I think that one time that you're right, see, I told you, whether it's them getting a new skill, trying it on the tumble track or into the pit or on the rod, and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, he was right. Then you start to keep track of that, and they're like, okay, I am kind of nervous because Matt has taught me every new skill I do, or if I take it from one surface to the other, I will be scared. I accept it. It's like walking in the rain. You're going to get wet. You can complain about it or just move past it and try to keep kind of getting that skill. So I just try to teach him being scared isn't a bad thing. Being scared is part of learning or doing something new that you're maybe not used to.
Absolutely. I've never even thought about it that way, to be honest. The haunted house thing, that makes a lot of sense. I try a lot of different analogies, but I'm going to have to steal that one from your book, man, because that so true. You go through and it's if I know where someone's going to jump out at me, yeah, it still might startle me, but I'm going to be half as startled if I know that they're about to do it. So it's you try to figure out different ways, because I'm telling you, I feel like athletes are getting a little bit less,
not as hard as they used to be. So you got to kind of really like talk them into it, and the phrase that I've been saying lately is, everyone is scared when they do something new or take it to a different surface. And fear is easy. Fear is, if you do it so many times, like a certain number for you specifically, your fear of it will go away. But the real F word that actually is hard to go away and there's no number is, oh my God, what was it? I just lost track of thought. Is frustration. Jesus, lost track of thought. Frustration is harder. That's the one you have no idea. Will you get the skill within a week? Will it take you 7 months? You have no idea when it comes to frustration, how long it's going to take you to get that standing full. With fear, you throw so many of them, the fear is gone. It's out the door. Now it's just you're frustrated because you've thrown 100 of them each day for 2 weeks and you haven't landed one. That's where the real challenge comes.
Absolutely. The one that I always use with the athletes, and maybe you hear it out there, but the one that I always get is, well, I've never done it before. So I rebuttal that with, you've never done anything in life before until you've done it. So name one thing. And they're like, it's like, all right, well, like, let's not let I haven't done it be the only reason why you're not going to try to do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
yeah, why would you?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, love it. So, I follow you quite intently. Sawyer loves watching you, all the skills that you have your athletes do. But, we all have like the cool pass that, we can say we've taught athletes, whether it's a super combo or a double flipping and multiple twisting skill. What is the coolest pass or skill that you've taught an athlete to do that really stuck out in your head where you're like, wow, like I feel super proud of, not only the athlete, but of my ability to coach the athlete to do that pass or skill?
I'm proud of this year. On generals, we have 3 full whip doubles that go in the opening, and each of them I taught them to. And I just watching it in the full outs and seeing it come to tuition, and like we did majors filming the other day, watch people's reaction to it. It just makes me feel good that those 3 girls trust me to get them to that level, to that, the gym and the other coaches on the team with me trust me to like be able to put them in that situation to be successful. I like try to see it from the arena, at NCAA, or see it at majors in my head when we start to do it. And I can visualize and hear the crowd, and it just gives me goosebumps. So I would say I'm super proud of myself for that. And lately, the past couple of years, I've challenged myself with kick fulls. I love watching a kick full, like a beautiful kick full. I love watching. I haven't been able to get a kick double yet. We've gotten close with a couple, but watching a kick full to me is just, I don't know, it just does something for me, man. It's a beautiful skill that I never got. And just watching when the girls can do them and compete them and the crowd go, ooh, it's a cool feeling.
It's this most simplest question, but probably, the hardest question, at least that I've noticed when I'm doing these interviews, is when I ask the coach, what do you love most about coaching? It could be a number of things, and there's a lot of things we all love, but for you, what would you say is like that one thing that you love the most about coaching that just keeps you coming back day in and day out, 7 days a week?
Ooh. I'm going to do a 2-part answer if I can. One, yeah. I have some kids that I've had from age 7, and this year they're 17. So I got them for 10 to 11 years. I love being able to be a part of their life. Like one of their parents told me probably 17 years ago, you see them more than we do. We take them home from school. We take them straight to the gym. So we see them in the car that morning and when we pick them up. And then you see them for about 3.5 hours. And then when we take them home and they go home, shower, do homework, and go to bed, they were telling me, you're pretty much, us coaches are helping raise these athletes. So to see like these young women and men become like adults and put good energy into the world is so cool for me. I think that's probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. The next thing is I love watching people's raw emotions. So I love watching like if God willing, we win a competition or something, watching their emotions come out, because I saw, I've seen them when we push them in practice and I see the tears and the blood, and which everybody goes through it, but it's like just cool to watch your athletes go through it and then reap the benefits of it. I think that's one of the coolest things. And since I've done it so long, I still will, every now and then get teary-eyed from a win, but really it comes like when I'm watching all the girls, we did it type of thing, I think is what does it more for me now. Absolutely. I would say I have to agree. I've had quite a few parents, say pretty much the same thing. We see them more. We probably know more about what's going on in the kids' lives, to a certain extent than they do. And, I think for me, it's when I've watched my thing, since I do a lot more
high schools, because here at Dauntless, we don't have our own all-star teams. We're just a training facility. So when we get to work with a high school team, that's kind of more where I get more of those satisfactions of when if I get the kids like as a freshman or even in 8th grade going into freshman, then watch them graduate as senior, when they like kind of slip you a letter, you know, like after things done, and like you read that letter and it's like, you know, this was the type of figure you played in my life, whether it's like a fatherly type figure or an unclely figure, and like you helped push me through A, B, or C. It's like, and you don't even realize that like your interactions with them meant that much, you know, to them in terms of like what you were able to help them go through. But like that is more where I feel touched, like, dang, like I have a huge responsibility to, you know, make sure that I'm giving these kids, you know, my personal best, because I have no idea what impact I'm leaving on their life.
Exactly.
So it's awesome. All right, Matt, you know, you've given us a bunch of great answers, you know, to the questions that we've asked you. You know, you've let me pick your brain. You know, I have another question for you, though. And like, what's the biggest thing that you tried to instill in your athletes?
Geez, these are some good questions, man. Hard work, you know, getting down, getting in the grinds, like being able to multitask. Like a lot of them, you know, have their school and they are trying to be straight A students to get into these big colleges. And then they're doing their, some of them do school cheer. So they do their school cheer crap, and then they do their all-star cheer with us. Then they do private lessons or tumbling classes. Then like gyms were requiring them to run 3 miles a week. And by January, it'll be 4 miles a week. So they have their workouts too. Some of them help with the community. So it's like them being able to multitask really, really well, I feel like helps them go into further in life once they finish with us and go into college cheer or college and past that. So my goal is to try to set them up the best I can with work ethic, with working with, you know, a team and not being just about themselves, and multitasking. And I just try to do the best that I can on my side to make them good people and send them off to whatever college they're trying to go cheer or just go to college. And, you know, hopefully I've done a decent job to help with that.
All right, Matt. Well, I appreciate you kind of like jumping on, taking time out of your day to, you know, inform, you know, our viewers and hopefully many more viewers, you know, about what you do, kind of your philosophies, your skill sets, kind of what you try to do for your athletes. Is there anything fun, anything exciting, anything new that, you know, you want us to know about you or that you're doing that we should be looking forward to and, you know, trying to plug into and tune into?
Absolutely, man. So I got 2 things. Recently, a couple months ago, I started an Instagram subscription, which I send 2 to 3 workout videos weekly. And they're really just to help people hopefully stay away from injuries, getting their body strong to, you know, do the full outs, get new skills, compete the skills, all that stuff. So that's $5 a month on my Instagram. My new thing that I'm so stoked about is December 1st, I'm starting or dropping my website, matt.kelley.com, and I'm going to pretty much do one-on-one online coaching with an athlete. First month in December, I think I'm only going to take 5, maybe 10 athletes so I can kind of get my feet wet. But I'm going to be working with them online and their coach or their parents and going through their videos, sending how I would want them to do skills, the progression for it, give them workouts to do, detailed videos on what I believe they should fix. So hopefully after a month, then their parents, their coaches can see some sort of change. So I'm excited about it. I've always seen it in the fitness industry, and I've been wanting to kind of branch out more and help more people that are not, you know, within my reach. So I'm super stoked about that, y'all. It'll be at matt.kelley.com. Check it out. If that month comes up, sign up for it.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, we'll be definitely throwing that plug out there for you on our social media and whatnot, so that way people can kind of see more about what you do and hopefully become some clients of yours. I think everything we've talked about today is super informative, probably one of the coolest interviews I've got to do yet. So I appreciate you being you know, a part of that, and hopefully looking forward to doing like a recap, you know, here in a few months down the line, check out how your online coaching thing's doing and, you know, just kind of follow up and just let people kind of know where you're at now.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. You take care, buddy.